we'll ease into it as I make sure that everything is still good. Have yet another sip of something because it is, when I started this whole split thing, because for the month of May I'm gonna be off of work, so I'm doing split streams. That was the goal. Doing one from around 12 to about 4, and then doing one from about 8 to about 1. So you get the early morning crew, you get the late night crew, and everything, and it makes content and VODs easier for like the clips and stuff because I could take the 4-hour segments, toss them up to YouTube on a VODs channel, and then get down to everything else into it a little bit easier, which is the most exciting part to me. But now that I see G popped in and we have people that are beginning to trickle in, I think it's worth now jumping into it. So, welcome, everybody. Welcome to FlexCast episode 4. We have EnigmaM here today. And today we're going to be talking about quite a few things. For one, we obviously have our main 5 questions that we ask every single guest, and we're going to get into those as well too. Then we're going to be going into some specific stuff because people who are tuning in may or may not know I've known Enigma for a long time. So we've been really good friends, and we're going to be catching up on a lot of it. And then finally we'll be talking just a couple of things that I want to know about. Time on Twitch, because we've both been on this platform for a long time. We're both Twitch veterans, I would say. I think that's a fair assumption. And also there is a bit of age disparity, and I think that's also worth mentioning. So, Enigma, how are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for being here. Got to get the volume down just a little bit on you. I think I have it a little bit overtuned. I think we're good, though.
Mic might be a little close, too.
No, you're good. You sound perfect. Let me just fix it on my end. So, without further ado, we're going to crack into this. As well as everybody who did tune in so far should know, we don't answer chat. We don't talk to chat until the end of the stream. If you guys have any questions, feel free to DM me them or put them into the Discord one way or another. We'll ask any specific questions at the end. But to jump into my first question, the one that I always like to ask people, it's one of the best ways to dig into this. What got you gaming in the first place? Like earlier on when it was baby Enigma, what was the game that you were playing or what drew you towards gaming in the first area?
My dad brought home a GameCube.
Ooh.
And my first game that I played when I was younger was called Monsters Inc. Dodgeball. And it was basically all the Monsters Inc. characters throwing literal dodgeballs at each other. It was a great game.
Fun.
And that basically started the grind. From there on, I used to work really hard around the house to just make like $20 to go to GameStop to buy like, the newest GameCube title. And for me, the newest. And then I don't know. From there, like I had a passion for gaming, so everything kind of just spiraled. I kind of started being like a collector. I have to my name currently 13 consoles. Ranging from Atari 2600 all the way up to the latest and greatest. The only ones I'm missing right now are like I think when I just did inventory, I'm missing like the Sega Dreamcast and like maybe one other that I can't remember. Oh, I haven't gotten the new PS5 yet, so that's
okay. So you have the Xbox.
Oh yeah, but everything else is like, I keep it in like, I bought like, usually I was looking for like the newer, like the best models. I started just being a collector, but then I was looking for like special editions, so a lot of perusing through eBays and stuff like that to find the OGs. But yeah, so gaming was always a part of my life. I grew up with it, I enjoyed it, and here I am.
Yeah, no, you mentioned collecting, and now that I'm looking a bit closer at your camera, I can kind of see not many people have a arcade machine as their nightstand. So yeah. I think that kind of stands out. There, I think that kind of sits out for what begs to your collection and what makes you want to do that. I personally was somebody who, and I even did this in video games and everything like that, but whenever I saw something new, I'd sell everything old just to buy the new. Like, I never wanted to keep it, and I guess there's a part of me that does regret all of that, because I have fond memories going back to, GameCube. I remember the first game I had was the Pokemon game with Dark Lugia. I don't remember the name of it, but it was the Pokemon GameCube one, and I loved it so much. And I played a mess of that stuff when I could, obviously when I was younger. But Taylor, on to question one, is that what draws you towards a certain game or a certain franchise, the collectability of it, or is it just something that, like what would make you, like, if a game came out right now, if you could personally tailor a game for you, what would it be?
Well, as of late, back in the day, it was like kind of anything. As of late, it's definitely usually like multiplayer FPS. I mean, my channel revolves around that. Um, for better or worse, and I'll get into that later on. But yeah, no, my channel revolves around FPSs. And I kind of like those were the ones that I harnessed. Um, so yeah, I would say the next game, if like a game was gonna be tailored to me right now and come out, that I would be like, that's my game. It'd be like some crazy movement shooter. Have to have a lot of movement involved. Doesn't really rely heavily on aim, but comes with the skill of can you aim while being like flying through the air at like record speeds.
Titanfall-ish.
Exactly. I'm a huge fan of Titanfall 2.
A lot of people are telling me that I should download it and play it because I love Apex.
And if you like Apex, Titanfall 2 is like next level Apex.
Wow. I'll check it out. Apparently they're doing like a free thing, or Respawn or whatever is doing a free thing for that. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, there's a lot of stale games right now, but there are some bangers, and I think they're only getting better and evolved upon. Apex's new season, obviously doing a phenomenal job as well too, killing it. So we'll round up to question number 2 now, because once we get through the 5 questions, it's kind of open from there. But question number 2, I think, is a great question to really dive a bit more within yourself and honest hour here. I've had people with a variety of answers to this question, but what got you into streaming in the first place? Was it money? Was it fame? Was it just the fact that you like gaming? What was the thing that kind of made you click go live for the first time ever?
So streaming wasn't like the beginning of like anything for me, to be honest. So previously, before streaming, I was going like semi-pro in like Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 4 with a team called Decisive Dragons. That was the team that I initially started with. We did lands down in Texas and stuff like that, huge tournaments. And so for me, it was like necessary in a way, because in order to do virtual tournaments, you had to have at least someone on your team that was like a streamer. And we had people on the team, but I just was like, you know what, I'll throw myself in case I need to, like sub in as a streamer at the time. So that's kind of what it started as, was like a need by need basis for tournaments.
Yeah.
But then I just kind of like found like a passion for it and built like a community on it, because I was like really into, or like invested into, the people that joined, because people would come into chat and what was nice was it wasn't necessarily about my skill level or anything like that. I would pop off and do crazy plays in these tournaments, but people were just there to like talk to me, like they'd ask me questions and stuff, and I was like, this is enjoyable, this is like what I want to do.
Oh yeah.
So I just continued. I mean, I kept on moving. I bounced between like 3 teams to the one that I'm currently on, which is Snap City Gaming, which is more of just a starter. I kind of downgraded in the last year just because something had to give. I ended up having to take like a 5-month hiatus from streaming because I really deteriorated like my mental health from trying to put too much like load on myself.
Been there.
Yeah. I mean, basically what ended up happening was I ended up on a team when Apex got released, and that's when I took like streaming real seriously at the same time. And the team that I was a part of was called Love Gaming, and we were doing like practice every week, 24 hours, and then I was going live for another like 4 or 5 hours a day and only playing Apex, and everything on my channel was Apex. And there were times when it just got to the point, and then I realized that I was making a mistake, was streaming became work, and that's not what you want it to be. You want it to be enjoyable. You want it to be, I would get into my streaming setup. I would set everything up, and I'm just like, in my head, I was just like, I don't want to be here. And that, like, your
that
viewers
sucks.
can see that.
That's yeah. You wear it on your face, yeah.
Exactly. So I had to take like a 5-month hiatus from it, and I ended up deciding to drop Love Gaming and go to Snap City. As to be kind of like a starter. I knew they were growing up, and I wanted to be a part of that grow up process. And I also knew they weren't gonna like be heavy on tournaments or practices, and it would allow me to not only be a part of an organization that's growing, but also be able to focus on streaming. So that's just like, yeah, I guess to answer your question on why I got into streaming, it was really because at the time it was like a necessary thing, and then from there it just grew to wanting to build a community that I wanted to be a part of.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that makes complete sense. Really quickly, I'm so sorry. My camera's just bothering the ever living shit out of me. I think it's way too small. Like in comparison, it's just destroyed me. That's fine. This is still unedited. Just minor interruption. But I actually didn't know that about you with your Call of Duty history. I've known you for a while, but I didn't know that. But I do remember when I met you that the Dragons team, the Decisive Dragons, I remember you mentioning them a lot around that time. And you used to play a lot of Apex more than even me. I remember that too. I mean, you were gigantic in Apex when it first came out, and I was just like, it was fun, but like I didn't have the same love for it. I think Fortnite really grabbed me by the jejunum. Just kept me, man. I couldn't escape it. So tagging on to question number 2, there's one other part that's kind of funny in it. And I think a lot of people like answering this question. I know I personally have answered it on the podcast almost every time because people are always interested. But how bad did the first stream look?
Oh God, we had, I mean, quality of the stream in terms of like the video footage, I never really had a hard time with. It was more like my equipment that I was using. So first things that got upgraded were like camera and like mic quality and like audio quality, because like those were the worst. Like staticky, like I mean I had Astros, but like the Astros just couldn't handle like the high capability like audio quality that I really wanted. And then the camera, oh my God, the camera was like 480p, like 20 frames a second, not even joking. Like it was awful. Like I would smile and it would take like, you'd see each frame of the smile being created on
no.
my face. Like, it was so bad. But yeah, there are like, if you went like back in like my Twitch like channel and like scrolled way back to the way beginning, you would see like clips, like even the graphics, like back then I was like under Murderous Enigma, and I had like this whole like, I don't even know, I think I got like a bunch of like graphics off of Google because I like was too lazy to like make them myself, and they were like blood splatters and stuff because I thought it, teenage me was just like, I gotta throw this together for tournaments, and like blood looks cool, everybody likes blood, so let me
this
throw
sounds
blood all over my over my stream. Yeah, it didn't work out. I mean, I grew a little bit, but not as much as I have in like the last 2 years when I was really taking it seriously. So
yeah, no, it's so funny thinking about the old days, and I'm gonna talk a bit more about that after the 5 main questions, because you and I, saw each other probably in our, maybe I would say the earliest point, the growing point, when we were
the infancy.
Yeah, a bit raw, if you will. But I'll streamline right into question 3 as well, so we can get these ones out of the way. You touched upon this a little bit, and this is important because I think for everyone it's a bit different. If I can just ask really quickly, I don't know if you're private about this or not. If you are private, feel free to deny it. But how old are you again?
How old am I?
Yes, just age-wise.
Oh, I'm gonna be 22 at the end of May here.
Gotcha. So definitely, yes, a bit younger. So, everyone has a different way of answering this question, and I think this is one of my favorites because it shows a lot of people that it's not as straightforward as you might think it is. How does streaming and relationships work for you? Whether it's girlfriends, whether it's work, whether it's friendships. It's different. Oversoul is married, so when I talked to him, it was different. Gutsy Aiden was running, his family, so his was a bit different. I know it's different for everybody. So for some, it's easier. Some people don't even tell people they stream, So where do you land?
So for me, let's see. I've had off and on girlfriends throughout streaming. I mean, it's not really hard for me to like I can definitely straight up tell you, especially like way back when I was doing like comp and like also streaming, it was way too much. Like I really couldn't handle like a relationship or anything like that. More recently, it was like, yeah, I can handle one. But honestly, I just decided to focus more on myself at the time. I mean, going through like college and stuff like that at the same time as like everything else I've been doing, like it wasn't really necessary for me. I was kind of pushing things off, and I still am under that like frame of mind. Like I have way more important things to worry about at the moment, I guess I could say. Because like I don't know, I find me is more important. So and later on, if I bump into someone that makes stars, I guess you could say, then I can incorporate them and everything's gonna be fine. And like, well, I can handle it. It's just I didn't want to put so much stress on that. So as a person that wasn't really dating throughout most of my like streaming career and stuff like that, I mean, I've been asked. It's just got to be the right person, I guess. And it's got to be someone that like will respect you for you. I've definitely had girlfriends, I guess, earlier on that wanted to take me away from what I was doing, and that's not what you want at all. You definitely don't want someone like if you're gonna be a streamer or content creator, you don't want someone that's like taking you away from what you're supposed to be doing.
100%. That was, dude, and it's funny you mentioned that because that was an issue.
Give me 1 second. My
go for
is
it.
here.
Yeah, go for it, man. We expected that there would be a small break in the podcast because he had a package being delivered. He mentioned it was Loma. I'm gonna ask him what that means. I don't know what it is, but welcome everybody. Rob, Gamer Bro. I saw Kavichi there. I saw Jeep there. I saw Connor there. I saw everybody stopping in. And I appreciate the love and support so far. We're having good. Gamer Bro, I don't know if the volume's low. In fact, I think it's quite overtuned. I have him at 182 on Discord. He's coming in very loud on my end. So I would just double check your end. It might be your side. On his side? No, because I'm watching my audio levels through OBS. Rob, don't even worry about it. I'm not sure if we're going to end up having questions. If we do have questions, though, if you think of any, obviously just shoot them over probably before you leave or whatever. But yeah, thought it was going to be at night. Yeah, so it just ended up working out because my younger brother, Isaiah, he has a football game tonight, and he only gets to invite certain people. And this week he wanted to bring Liv and I because with COVID, they only get to bring like a guest or two. And so Liv and I are going to be the guests tonight. So I'm going to be late tonight to Fortnite Friday. But we are going to be playing all night. I'm going to see if I could still get like a fashion show together and everything else as well. Game Bro saying football or soccer? It's football, actual football. He is a tight end and a safety.
All right. Sorry about that, guys.
No, you're good.
Flex.
What is that Loma thing? What is that?
It's well, I mean, it's just soil basically. Well, I call it loam up here.
Okay, so soil.
Up
so
north.
You gardening?
Yeah. We're redoing like some like grass and stuff, so we gotta get some loam in.
Oh shit.
Yes.
Alrighty. I'm a plant dad myself. I have a few plants at home. I take care of them. They're all my babies. But tagging back to what we were talking about, we talked about relationships and obviously it went to girlfriend, but do you feel like streaming, being in college was something that like, you mentioned you did end up taking a break because you had a bit too much on your plate, but like, is it something that people knew you did? Is it something that you kept totally private? Where did that land for you?
For the most part, my community was aware. A lot of people are very active in like my Discord that are like regulars on the stream. So I kind of just sent out a thing, said, listen guys, not doing well. I need to take a break. I don't know how long it's gonna be, but when we come back, it's gonna be whole new system. And it really was. I came back. I mean, I reinvented me as like a person. I redid like kind of everything that I was doing because originally, like I said, I was doing like way too much. Actually, towards the tail end, I did end up having a girlfriend at the same time, and that put a lot of pressure onto things. She also wanted, again, it was another kind of person that wanted to like change a lot of what I did, which was really unfortunate.
The worst.
Yeah, and it wasn't necessarily about streaming though. Okay, so I do have to mention this. It was more like manipulative of what I streamed. So instead of just being like, hey, like whatever game you want, because towards the tail end I did realize that Apex was getting too much for me and I needed to like kind of put in other games.
Yeah.
And if I didn't play anything but Apex, she just wasn't happy and it made me feel like crap. So yeah, so like between that and then forcing myself to kind of play Apex and then comp and all this practicing and everything, like I needed to do something. So yeah, no, my community was aware. When we came back, we were like stronger and better than ever. We came back and now we have a new schedule. And just a bunch of other things. I'm running like 3 streams now instead of just like my own. Like I have my gaming channel, but then I too created like a movie review podcast with a film major that I went to school with. That's one of my best friends. So we do that to kind of review movies that are coming out. And then I also just recently at the beginning of the year, since I'm gonna be like kind of like, well, I'm graduated now, but I started a game studio with a bunch of people, and we have like investors and everything. So now I host like dev talks and stuff like that, where we're talking about the games we're releasing and all that kind
Wow.
of stuff. So yeah,
Wow, look at you, man.
Enigma's going big.
Sounds like you're working on a lot, man. That's awesome. Definitely
Yeah.
key me into any of that stuff that you might need an extra pair of hands for, man, because I'm
Oh,
always.
absolutely. I mean, if you want to have a key in July, end of July, we're gonna have a roguelike coming out in beta access. You can have absolutely a key if you can play it on stream for us and give us some publicity. We definitely appreciate it.
150%. Yeah, this Sunday I'm playing Raid Shadow Legends for a
There
sponsored
you go.
stream. So
Oh yeah.
so we're having fun. But yeah, no, I would love to, man. Honestly. I love to see peers and creators of what I consider to be on the same level of me making big moves. It's so fun to see when people are able to start to really harness their content and then make those kinds of plays, man. It's fucking awesome. So I can't wait to see what comes out. What's the name of the studio?
It's Typhon Studios. It's like typhoon, but without the second O, so it's Typhon.
Gotcha. Okay.
We based it off of like a mythological titan.
Awesome.
So
Nah, fuck yeah, it works for me. So I'll go right into question number 4 because number 3, obviously, we touched upon everything that we can. And as opposed to some of my previous podcasts, I'm not answering the questions as well like I have just because right now, I've answered them enough on the podcast that if they ever were requested by anybody in chat or anyone hanging around, you guys can 100% ask. So number 4 is this. What does a day in the life look for you? And I say this in the sense of what does a perfect day in the life look for you? Like if everything went right, every mark was hit, you did everything you needed to do as a content creator, as a regular person, what would be a successful day?
You mean like, are you specifically talking about like on a stream day?
Well, maybe you stream that day. Yeah. Start to finish, getting everything done.
Perfect day.
How do you mix your real life, the streaming, morning to end?
I mean, perfect days, waking up, usually doing some programming for the studio, making sure we're marketing right. That's kind of been my day to day as of currently, and I like enjoy that. I'm putting a lot of pressure into that right now. And then at nighttime, being able to kind of leave and hop right into like streaming and hanging out with some good friends of mine. I've been doing like kind of some community nights on Thursday where I play with a couple other streamers as well, and those are kind of like really great. Like I get to hang out with them, and we've been doing some laid back games like Stardew Valley and like Among Us and stuff like that. Nice little relaxing community games, and
Bogus.
yes, exactly. And so we'll hang out and do that, and then yeah, basically just being a part of my community and building that up, and that's honestly right there is like a perfect day. Like if I can actually to make better things worse, if I can like have someone there in the community that is like excited just to see there, they don't have to do anything, and but they're just sitting there talking to me, and I have like a whole group of people that are just chatting it up and giving me advice or telling me stuff or telling me how their day went. Like honestly, that is the best day. Some of my best days are when a lot of my viewers are chatting, and like even in like Apex, like I've had people like give me challenges and stuff like that that aren't necessarily like challenges we've set or anything, and they're
Yeah.
just like, hey, can you do this? And I just like go ahead and do it, and like those are some of my like fondest memories too. Like I have things on my YouTube of like viewers that like were like, hey, go into this game. One of them that is like most notable was one of my viewers named Nero came in. He was like constantly in there hanging out with me talking, and he was just like, go into Apex, win a game, P2020s only. And we ended up like killing it. We won the game, like 5 kills, 1500 damage with P2020s only. And like I instantly was like, this is great content for YouTube. But also like the side of me was just like, I'm never gonna forget it. Like it could be deleted off of YouTube and I could still tell the story just the way it was, because it was just that memorable for a viewer to come in and tell me to do something and me to just be like, hell yeah, let's do it, Nero. Cause like he was just this great guy.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
So I really try to put focus on my viewers a lot, and that is what drives my perfect days.
That's amazing. You know, I always say that there's this hard thing that a lot of people don't understand from a content creation standpoint, where you have to both satisfy your existing community with creative ideas, but you also have to build the community larger. So you have to satisfy people you've never even met.
Oh yeah.
And those two things don't always work hand in hand, because what your community might love to see you do might be something that has no love by other people who might be new to tune in. But at the
Yeah.
same time, you also have things that you do to get new people in the door, fun, maybe clickbaity type things that your community can kind of see right through and be like, hey, this isn't who you typically are. So I find that there's this balance of trying to make both of those things work. But, it sounds like you have your hands full on a daily basis, man.
I mean, building off of that, I would say personally, I'm kind of at this point under like the mindset that it's kind of like cliche too, but like kind of the if you build it, they will come kind of slogan.
Okay.
Like the truth is, like I feel like as a content creator, myself included in this, that like if you are doing something that you deeply enjoy, you don't necessarily have to tailor content to people. People will come if it's the content that they enjoy, if that makes sense. As long as you're looking like you're enthusiastic. The moment you go monotone and you're just like playing the game, no one's there for that.
Oh, yeah.
Like I definitely can tell you, unless you're like, as someone who went like semi-pro, even people that were there for my tournaments were even not there for the tournaments, if that makes sense. They were there for me because I would be
Okay.
enthusiastic about what I was a part of, and not necessarily about, again, the skill sets that I had. And I feel like that's a lot of things that like us as like, especially like I'll call us like indie streamers, have to worry about when you're sub 1,000 viewers average. Like you're really looking, instead of like trying to tailor to pull, you're tailoring to like create enthusiasm within your community.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
And
No.
finding your passion, right, as a streamer. Because when you're there and you're playing your games and you're like, this is what I like to do. Like when I'm playing Apex, or if I'm playing Stardew with friends or whatever, we're laughing, we're having a good time. I'm having a good time in Apex, whatever. Sure, I'll make a great play and everybody's like, whoa, that was insane. But like at the same time, 5 minutes from now, they're not going to remember the insane play, but what they'll remember is how enthusiastic we were, and they get to walk away with that. And I get to walk away making someone's day, and that's what's important.
Yeah. No, that makes complete sense, and I agree with you in a lot of ways. In there, like if you build it, they will come, and I think that narrative definitely speaks very, very true. I guess from my perspective, having seen it, there's what I call, and I've spoken about this openly on the stream before, not in the podcast specifically, but there are growth days, and then there are, I feel like, more relaxed days and a bit more for the community, because you have to have days, because if your stream is going really well, and again, really well for your community, like that P2020 day, that story tells better than it might be at the time. Some people might just be like, can you just play the game normally? Can you just do it? Because they're watching, maybe they're eating dinner, maybe they're doing whatever, and they don't want to have to see this challenge. But once it's all said and done, the story tells better than the event felt. And I think that there's a lot of those, mixing up the days in which you're grinding for the people, but also having those days in which you really satisfy them. In fact, I've been trying to mix that up during this whole month thing. In fact, I have kind of a stab, or rather a joke, but I have a hot tub stream coming up. I put it as a sub goal, kind of joking around, and it actually hit. And I was like, hey,
Nice.
we gotta work this out. But that's one of those days where I'm not expecting to get any followers, because during it, it's not something that is going to garner anything. But after the fact, the video, the VOD, the everything, that's what's going to be kind of what draws people's attention in. It's more satisfactory for the funniness of it all. But let's go ahead and transition into question number 5 so we can get to everything else. I feel like we've been doing a really good pace now, about 30 minutes in. So number 5, I think, is a great way to send off these questions, because it really does kind of take streaming back within itself, in its own roots for a moment. But who do you personally draw inspiration from? And to tag onto that, Is there anyone, like, as far as Twitch or YouTube, who you personally enjoy watching yourself that you're genuinely entertained by?
Oof. So back in the day, I would have probably have been like, oh, there was this person named Dizzy, who was a part of like
Dizzy,
NRG. Dizzy was great back in the day. He was a huge Apex person, and he was definitely an inspiration for me because of how big he blew up really quickly.
Oh my god, it was overnight.
Oh, it was ridiculous. But I will say, that over time, I don't really have an inspiration. Especially now, like a lot of the people that I watch are usually smaller streamers. I usually am not watching big streamers, and if I am not watching someone small, or I don't even spend a lot of time on YouTube. If I'm not doing any of those things, like there is no real inspiration. It's just my inspiration comes from my drive to build a community.
Yeah.
And I'm not really like, see, this is where it gets like tough because a lot of people, when they get into this, they want to become big or whatever. They have that as their driving force. And for me, I don't even know if I necessarily ever want to hit like over 1,000 people. And the reason why
Really?
is I don't want to lose sight of like my community that I have now. Right now, I know everyone's name. I know what they're doing. I know what they're up to. And they come into my chat and I could talk to them and I have like a connection. And the few times that I've ever watched like a larger streamer, over even like 5,000, like we'll say 5,000 to 10,000, they know their mods, and that is it. Like everybody else that comes in, they may know like the regulars, but aside from that, like they lose track of like that personal connection, and that is what I enjoy personally as a streamer. So I look to, I'm not doing this as like a money making tool or anything of that nature. I'm literally just doing it to meet people and create like personal connections with people and entertain. And by doing so,
Absolutely.
I want to entertain through a way that like I can, know that person. Not necessarily like everything about them, I'm not like learning their like, true names or anything like that, or like where they live, but I'm saying like, I see someone in chat, like I said, Nero, who's like a regular, and I'm like, hey Nero, how was work today? Because like I know he works at like Amazon, let's say, how was Amazon work today? Was it hard? And he'll talk to me, and we have like a good time, and like that is what I'm looking for, and I guess that's like more of my inspiration now. My drive is to just be me, and be like the best version of me for my community. And I don't really need anybody else to like look towards for goals because I just set my own, I guess. I don't know if that like really like hits on the head, but like yeah, I don't know.
No,
That's
that,
like
that
my
makes
mindset,
sense. Yeah. I think that because now that technically the 5 questions are done, we can go into everything. And a lot of this podcast is talking about, streaming ideas, streaming advice, and things like that. But I think that, to kind of talk a bit about what you were talking about, there is a balance, I think, for growth because, for example, the other day I got hosted by Vertigo Gaming. Great guy. I mean, just awesome guy. He actually hosted me twice and didn't know he hosted me twice because the first time he ever hosted me, I was Corvus playing Rust. And the second time is Flex Chapman playing Apex. And so what happened was he actually, he hosted me, and I had so much chat going on that I began to almost feel a bit flustered because it was like you almost can't keep up with it. And for those larger streamers, I understand where you get that, like, you want to stay in tune with your community. You don't want to get too far from that. On the other end, though, with those larger streamers, a lot of people, majority of them, I'd say probably 85% of them, are genuinely just people trying to troll, trying to be, malicious, ill intent. And then you have a good chunk of people who are your core community who are just trying to, basically wade in the water, right? To get by. And, I think that, obviously my goal and aspiration is to get there. And I'm trying lots of different means to get there. And I think when I get there, it's going to be unique to try to find a way to meld the two. And I think the best way to do it is to, have OG days or have OG moments where the people who have been with you forever get that same level of attention that they kind of deserve, Because I agree with you, when you have, a solid, let's say 20 viewers, and they're all regulars, and you can have those moments like, how was work? How was your day? How was this and that? How's your mom doing? You told me last week, or how's, whatever. That feels really good.
Yeah.
But it also feels really good when you have even more people come in the community, and then you can play a game of Apex, and chat almost takes care of itself. Because you have new people coming in that are welcomed by the existing people. You have existing people joking around with each other. And then when inquiries come up to the table, you're still responsive of them. And I think that blend of everything is that perfect melting pot of, what makes a good creator. I'm not sure if it's been done successfully. Actually, let me correct myself. I think there is one example. I watch his VODs all the time. I am subscribed to him, and I'm really impressed because him and Ludwig have done a great job. I'll go into that further. But have you heard of Smalland? Smalland. He is a speedrunner. Smalland is a speedrunner who does YouTube and Twitch. And he's really good because he has a really good trickle-down system, which is the same thing that I plan on doing, which is he streams and his VOD goes right to a VOD channel. Then that VOD's edited into a YouTube video, which he puts on his YouTube channel. Then that YouTube video is edited into small segments, which goes on TikTok and YouTube Shorts and Instagram. And then he keeps up with it. He is really, really, really entertaining, really, really, really good. And man, let me tell you, this guy has a chat that is flying, and he responds to like everybody. And it's almost kind of like you almost don't know if you like it or not. Cause like he'll just be like, yeah, that's it. No. So we went the other day, and it's like he's playing the game, and it's literally just like he's just going and going and going, and you almost kind of want to tell him like, bro, chill the fuck out, and just play your fucking game. You know what I mean? Like you're good. But he is the best example of somebody who literally answers every single person. He never misses a beat. He answers everybody on the dot, and he's so good at it. And when you have the two sides of the coin, right? You have your Ludwigs who's doing the same thing, but he doesn't respond to a single person, right? You never look. He probably doesn't have his chat open. Probably keeps it closed. Then you have Smalland, who is growing as well, similar size, crazy chat, and answers every person. You almost kind of prefer to watch Ludwig in some ways sometimes because it's like, at least you get to focus on the content that he's putting out there, right? With both sides there, I don't know which one I would personally like more, but I think I would want to try to, in some way, try to find the perfect medium because it's a lot at once, for sure.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I can definitely agree. Obviously, I was saying, personally, my goal is not to go, like, obviously, I think anybody that starts streaming, you sit back, you go, okay, yeah, like, if I grow and make it big, like, that'd be cool. And it definitely would be. But it's not like an aspiration. It's not like a must for me. Again, my goal is to, create a community and love my community and be a part of it. But at the same time, I mean, there is obviously the understanding that eventually, things may take off. And if they do, it's not like I'm going to bye, like shut off the stream and leave. That's not what I meant by like, oh, I don't want to go over 1,000 viewers. Like, I'm going to take it, but I'm going to have to take it in strides from then on. And like, really contemplate how I want to do things, make sure that I have proper mods in place and all that kind of things. Because you have to like kind of, cross your T's and dot all your I's with this thing. Yeah. Obviously, especially nowadays with where everything's at on Twitch and stuff. Everybody's one step away from a ban. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh
so
my
you
God.
Just gotta be like really careful and diligent. And so like, I'll definitely have to make sure everything's set up for that. And yeah, I'll take it in strides and find that happy medium. I mean, I definitely will tell you personally that there's no way I would be able to keep up with a chat that's flying. I will probably have it on slow mode and on my end and probably try and, read as much as I can, but there'll be times when I miss things. And, I'll end up turning into the usual streamer that, does my best, but can't make it through. And so I respect that. But at the same time, I'll always wish back to when I had, sub 100 viewers or sub 500 viewers and was sitting back just knowing everybody,
Yeah. No. I actually, there's times now, where I've hit higher viewer counts. During the 24-hour stream, I hit a peak of 40, no host, which was awesome. And then, I've been able to hit somewhere, my average has been about 15 or so. It fluctuates. But there's times even now where I'll be in a game and a message will happen, somebody will do a gamble, and I'll miss a message. And it's like, even now, you know what I mean? I can't even imagine what it would be with 100 more people trying to fit their thought in there. You know what I mean? I can't even imagine trying to not miss a message at that point in time, and it's difficult. You're so that comment you made about the bands though is so funny. Do you have any copy strikes yet?
No. I mean, I play when I do play music, it's all like not under DMCA, so I try and like watch out for that. But no, I haven't really had any. YouTube's a whole nother animal on that one. My podcast for the movies has definitely picked up stuff like that. Anytime we show off a clip of a movie, YouTube's like right on top of that. But honestly, for my YouTube, because it's kind of separate for the podcast, I'm kind of just like, whatever, do whatever you want, YouTube. Like, I don't know, like my YouTube is not like a lot of people say when they stream, like you should focus on YouTube. I'm like, just like, again, I'm not really forcing growth, so I'm not here to, say this is right, this is wrong. I had an opportunity kind of like relating back to like when we had talked about like streaming certain games and tailoring stuff. There was a time when I definitely could have popped off. It was early on into my like affiliation, and me and a bunch of friends decided to have like a sub server in Minecraft. I have nothing against Minecraft, but I am way too aggressive and way too competitive for something that like laid back to do every night.
Yeah.
Fortunately and unfortunately, I hit my highest view count that I've ever had and my highest sub goal. My viewer count was pretty much averaging day by day around the 200s. My highest being like 216 on Twitch, and I was getting about like 50 to 60 subs throughout that month, like pretty consistently throughout the month of May and then the month of June after that. And I could have kept with it. Like it was something that I definitely could have kept with, and I would have grown like exponentially. Every night we were getting more content, more viewers were coming in, more subs. It was crazy, the growth. And it was because there wasn't a lot of big people streaming Minecraft at the time. It was a perfect game to try and grow with at that point. Um, However, with that being said, there was a time when again I got bored with it. It wasn't my game, and so I had to leave it, and thus a lot of my community left too, because a lot of people didn't enjoy the Minecraft, or they didn't enjoy other things besides the Minecraft. I would get people coming in going like, people would come in.
When are you playing again?
Oh yeah, when are you playing Minecraft? When's Minecraft coming back? And I'm just like, dude, like
it's not
probably not for like ever. Like, we're on Apex again. Like it would just happen. And to be honest, I don't miss it.
Yeah.
Like I don't like. I've come back to Minecraft a few times with some friends, but to be honest, again, I still stand by what I said earlier, which is you gotta play what you enjoy. And sure,
you have to, man. You have to. Oh god.
The viewers and everything was great, but it wasn't worth it. It wasn't.
Yeah. I say that as well, having dealt with that with Fortnite, because the Fortnite was the same thing. I literally met someone, and this is a true story, and they might hate me because I've told this story a few times during the stream, but they were partnered, and we were playing World of Warcraft, and they were a partnered streamer, and I was like, partnered? And you play World of Warcraft? That's so crazy. And I was like, how'd you get partnered? They were like, well, I just took a year, and every day I streamed Fortnite creative.
See, that's rough.
And I was like,
that sounds rough.
I was like, oh my god. And they're like, yeah. So now I'm partnered. I just play World of Warcraft. And I was like, wow. Shit. I don't know. Like, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could sit there and just for a year straight, like okay, like if you told someone like that's as easy as it is to get partnered, then you do whatever you want, right? Like that person did it. Now they're playing World of Warcraft. They're a partnered stream or whatever. Like it's that easy. But it's like, could you handle it? Like, I don't think I would be miserable.
Well, I also wouldn't want to do that because then you're, like, in my opinion, then your community's kind of,
fake.
Like, fake.
Yeah.
It's not your community. It's Fortnite community that you're pulling. And thus, when you suddenly swap games over to something that you more enjoy, your number is going to drop. Sure, now you're partnered, you got the big slogan, but you don't look partnered. You look like you faked everything. You know what I mean? And that's not something you want to do. Like, in my opinion. And then you're going to have the people from Fortnite just coming back and repeatedly wondering when you're going to come back to their beloved game. And it's not something that you wanted to do. It was just something that you used to try and, blow up.
Yeah.
And while that's great in bursts, I don't think doing it to partner yourself and grow, like, exponentially is what you want to do.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I mean, nothing against that streamer, but
No,
that's
I
like, you know what I
totally
mean?
agree. When it
You
all
know?
happened, I was just kind of like, this is kind of fucking gross. Like, I don't know how to word it,
Yeah.
because the thing is, like I never want to get there disingenuously. I want to get there, but I want to get there with people genuinely supporting me and not just people who are there because that day. And, to that avail, and not kind of in a funny way, but recently I actually did start a Minecraft Let's Play series because for one, it literally, so I tried 3 times, all right? Because I've been trying to break into the world of Minecraft because I never fully give it a full shot. The first time I ever played it, I did an open lobby, like it just open to whoever wants to join, and it was a nightmare. It went fucking chaotic. People were stealing everything. I was so mad. So then I started an SMP, and the SMP had a bunch of roleplay. We had a bunch of stuff worked out, but then that died because everyone kind of slowly gave up on it. They didn't really care about it as much anymore. We tried to get games together, and we'd only end up with like 3 people, but the lobby had like 9, so we couldn't progress the story because 8 of the people are missing, right? And they all had jobs on the server. One person's a cartographer, one person's a blacksmith, one person's a chef, and you need everyone there so that you can keep that going. So then finally, I was like, fuck it. I've never beat Minecraft. I've never beat the Ender Dragon. I've never killed the Wither. I've never done anything. I'm gonna do it on my own terms with nobody. And so I started a survival series, and I'm going, and it's gonna be, I'm excited for it, but. Even streaming it, I've had people come in like, "Can I join?" No, all right, bye, and they leave, and it's like, well, what the, and I can imagine being in your shoes, where people are like, "Can I join?" and you're like, "Sub," and yeah, and they do it, and you're like, okay,
So that is exactly what I did back in the day. What happened was we had a server that was initially like bought and paid for by like my friend, but it only had 10 slots on it, and that just blew out of proportion. So I ended up buying my own server that could host like up to like 500 just as like a thought process to make sure that I had enough. And it was growing a lot, and we had a lot of people involved in it. The problem was eventually we had to keep on swapping. Originally it was like, hey, yeah, follow and you could join. That ended up becoming too much because it was kind of like a lawless server where, like, again, like you said, everybody's stealing everything. I mean, again, the problem with Minecraft, and this is nothing against the community of Minecraft, this is nothing against like any kind of community, but you got to gauge the community. And Minecraft's community is majority, kids. They're, under 18. They're, a lot of young kids that are running around, and you get, what I'm going to call whiners. You get the people that are like, he stole my diamonds. I need my diamonds back. I'm mad. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. And so then I went to sub only. And sub only worked for a while, but we still had people that were like, yeah, here's my prime, come in, and then they would just blow everything up or, fuck around. So as kind of like a thing, I tried one last more effort, and I threw on like some add-ons to do like claiming. And believe it or not, you would think that would work, but people were inviting people into their claiming realm, and then all of a sudden that person would like backstab them, and then they would freak out and be like, and I'm like, dude, you're the one that was just like, claimed all this land and then invited this guy into your house and like let him join your like clan, and then he blew it up. Like, so it just became a mess. And I think that's honestly why that server, like, for me, and why I decided to give it up in the end, along with the fact that, again, like, I'm multiplayer, competitive, like, aggressiveness, high octane, like, in Minecraft's not high octane. So I could have stuck it out if it wasn't for the fact that at the same time there was just no way to work around having people join from my community into it. And like, I was just tired, because the other thing is you get people from all around the world. So I'd be in bed sleeping, and at like 2 a.m, and have people like blowing up my Discord telling me I had to fix everything because someone did this, and I was just like, I don't need this.
Yeah, no, it's too much. It's way too much. It gets really, really, really crazy, and it's not fun. And I dealt with the exact same thing myself, and it was such a pain. Oh my God, it's such a pain. Well, the thing is, you think of any other survival game like Rust, or you think of Scum and everything like that, and you have ways to lock away your stuff. Your stuff. And even with Minecraft claiming, like, you still can't necessarily lock away your stuff. People can dig right under, do whatever they want to do. They'll find some way to ruin it, and it's just like it's such a hassle, which is why I needed to do this alone. Why I needed to take this journey into Minecraft alone without any help. And yes, I have to literally keep a bug zapper next to me while I stream it because people just come in like, zzz, can I play it? Nope. And they're done. They're done.
Oh, and they leave. They leave.
Yeah,
like
they're done.
Said,
yeah, they're gone.
The best way to like mention that is honestly, and that is again, but it's coming from the fact that these are under 18 kids that are just, they want to just join or else they're leaving. Like that's their mentality. And you have to understand that. So at the same time, again, you're gauging your community. And something that I learned early with Minecraft was, hey, these are kids. So of course they're gonna come in, and if you're like, oh, it's sub only, and then they throw like a hissy fit because they don't have the $5 to spend and they can't get access to
I know,
card.
yeah.
Like then they're just like, they throw like a temper tantrum in your chat, and then you're like, mod, please take care.
Yeah,
of
it's
and it hurts because you don't want to look like an asshole either. Like again, I'm not about the money by any stretch. It's just, it was a step that I had to take in order to make sure that the server wasn't like awful. Because like I never would forcefully take money from anybody. Like anybody that's come by the stream knows that. Like they come by and like just getting like a donation of $1 makes my day. Like 50 cents, and I'm like, dude, thanks for the 50 bits. Like, dude, you're the best. You know what I mean?
1 bit, dude. I put my alert. So even if you do 1 bit, it still pops up. Because I don't want, because like some people will put it where like you have to do like $5 or else nothing pops up, and it's like, nah, dude. Literally like 1 bit will pop up on my channel, 1 cent, literally. Because any support. You give that to anybody, you choose to give it to me. So it's like that's super appreciative. Maybe you and I should open up a Minecraft server and just call it the Chaos Realm, and anything goes, and we invite fucking anybody. Just go crazy.
About that.
Just go crazy, bro.
Like, they call them like lawless servers, and there's just no laws, and if you lose anything, it's on you. And like I thought about doing that, but again, like for me, at the end of the day, I had to do what was right by my community, and I didn't want to fake anything. And as much as I enjoy Minecraft early on, I always would get to this part, and I've tested it a million times. I've beaten the game, to be honest, but I've tested it a million times with Minecraft, and as soon as I get diamonds, I'm just like, all right, I'm done. Like that for me is when I beat the game, and from there I just start like, that's the climax, and I just fall, and I fall hard because I just don't have anything to shoot. Like if I'm being honest, I'm a clicker. I need to click heads, and that is it.
Yeah, man, people get crazy with the redstone and they build these giant contraptions. For me, it's the building, bro, but that's the worst part because it's the most boring part to watch. But I love sitting there farming diorite and just going to town, building this mansion, smelting glass, and doing everything. But it's like, I literally spent 4 hours and I haven't progressed the game 1 cent. I've just built this elaborate home and wasted everyone's time and just sitting there building. So that's kind of why it's like.
But it looks cool.
It does look great. Oh my god.
My community is gonna love it, whether or not you're building or if you're survivaling or speed running or whatever. Like the community is just excited to help. Like when I used to do build runs in Minecraft where I'd just like kind of go into creative, you would think that would be like the most boring thing, but people would come in and be like, you know, if you add like that table, like that right there, that pressure plate to like this stick and like whatever, like you can just make like a dining room table. And I'm like, oh really? And then I do it, I'm like, that looks sick right here. And then like they would teach you building tips that you just never knew. And so like again, it's another way, but you're just drawing on a different community, so it's like great, you know.
Yeah. Now, one thing I wanted to touch back on, you mentioned this before, but you said, so now you're doing this game developing and you're running the studio and everything. Do you think that that's going to be kind of like more of like a way to like stream into Twitch, or do you want to keep the two completely like separate, just not even touching each other?
So Enigma myself is pushing. It's not the other way around. It's not decisive. Sorry. It's not Typhon pushing into Enigma. It's Enigma pushing into Typhon. I want to put all my effort of transitioning communities. Well, not really transitioning, but like basically they're separate. You know, I'm gaming on this one, and that's more like me actually being me and like my spare time. And then Typhon is work. I mean, it's not fun in games. We're doing work. And I have to take it very seriously. You know, I have lawyers and all sorts of things as well, because, anytime you have actual like coworkers and employees and stuff, like I have to pay and take people seriously and make sure that that's like, so they have to be separate. But at the end of the day, like if you go to my channel on like Enigma's side of things, you'll see I have a command for Typhon. Like I don't have a command on Typhon's channel that says, hey, check out my actual gaming channel at Enigma.
Okay.
That's not what I'm doing. I do the other way around because I would rather have people see the Typhon and grow that and market that rather than the other way around. I do not market myself in Typhon. That's the separation because I don't know. That would just it wouldn't sound right. And even then, like I don't really push Typhon in my channel because again, I do kind of still want it to be separate. But if people do the command and like look up the website, like I still want to market it as much as I can. So that's kind of like the mindset that I'm in with the two.
Now, what is the link to that website? Just so I can put it in chat quickly.
I can actually. I'll just send it to you on Discord.
Sure thing. Yeah, I'll toss it in. This way, if anyone wants to check out what you are working on, I think that's definitely worthwhile for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have all the socials. I have a great social media kind of consultant. She takes care of all of our socials: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. We probably have it. The only thing we don't have, I guess, is TikTok because like we're a game studio. It's kind of hard to get TikTok videos out there. Besides gameplay, maybe in the future we'll look into that. But yeah, so I can kind of give you like a rundown if you're interested about the roguelike that we're working on right now.
Yeah, of course, man. What else do you think we're here for? I'm here to hear about you, man.
Right now, Typhon Studios is working on a roguelike called Timmy's Nightmare. It started as like a 48-hour game jam with this team that I originally kind of like created. And it was called The Adventures of Timmy. And basically the general idea of it is it's supposed to really touch on your early childhood. We're really we did a lot of research into what kids and ourselves back in the day used to play with for toys and stuff like that. And it's basically under the essence that you lost your teddy bear, you don't know why, and it's your prized possession. Like this is your like awesome teddy bear, you love this teddy bear. And your other toys are really jealous of the love that you have for this teddy bear, so they come after you. And so basically the bosses, the enemies, they're all toys, and you go through different levels that are like your house rooms. So you'll fight in the kitchen, you'll fight in the living room, stuff like that. And it's very Honey I Shrunk the Kid style of gameplay, where like everything is larger than Timmy, and all he has to protect him are an assortment. We actually have 110 weapons that are guns that you had as kids, maybe from bubble guns that shoot like bubbles to Nerf guns to like bubblegum blasters that shoot bubblegum bullets, like all of these guns that are in the game. And then of course we have your bosses like Jack in the Boxes and stuff like that. And a lot of the art you guys can see if you go to like the socials. We post regularly all the concept art for all the characters that we have. But basically, yeah, it's totally like, hey, you're a kid and your toys are after you, and it's not really like blood and gore. It's not Call of Duty. We're looking at this is just a fun game that brings you back to when you were a kid.
Oh my god, I hope you have a level of that old race car carpet. You know the carpet? Yeah, you know the carpet. Everyone has that.
The hub level, like the main level that you're gonna spend most of your time on, that like transitions you to like the kitchen stuff, has Timmy's like race car carpet with a bunch of like little cars on it and stuff. Because we wanted again, we're pulling all that. Like even our outdoor levels, we're going as far like to have like outdoor levels with sandboxes and stuff, and like simple things that you may not have thought about, but like I don't know if you guys where you're from, Flex, had like the little mushrooms that you would kick and they'd like puff up into smoke. But like kids used to love these up here.
You got hold on. Mushrooms that you kick and they turn into smoke?
Oh yeah. So we have these mushrooms. They're like these giant, like they would grow into like a giant bubble ball, and you would kick them and basically would just release all the spores when you kick them, and they would like puff. And those were like, it wasn't necessarily a toy. They weren't like toxic or anything to anybody's knowing, but like you would kick them and like kids used to like, you'd see them running down the street like kicking these like mushrooms, and they would just puff. And I don't know. So we added those into the game.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, like everything you could think of, like things as simple as like Timmy can get like a special power where he puts on a cape, but it's not really a cape, it's like a bed sheet that he ties around his neck.
Yeah.
Like we're going that far, like we're thinking of like literally everything that you could possibly think of that when you were a kid you had, that were like actual physical toys. We're not talking about like gaming systems and stuff like that. We're talking about, what were these toys that you had?
As someone who's never done developed, but who does a lot of graphic design, all of those small details come into such big effect later on. and you have to think about that stuff because there's gonna be. It might not be the general public, but there's gonna be probably that small 1% who notices those mushrooms and instantly gets back that nostalgia of kicking them and is like, oh, like I'm back. Like I don't know. Like there's like those details are the things that are gonna be. And you see, like the instant thing I thought of when thinking about it was that race car carpet. Like when I think about when I was a kid, there's always that carpet, and you're like, yep, already done. Like because we've that means you fucking done the research. That's huge, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we again taking it very seriously. We have a set release date at the middle of August, and then beta is going to be out in July. It's going to be closed beta. We're giving away codes to some of the streamers that I am affiliated with, or that some of my other friends are affiliated with, just to try and get out there. We're also going to try and contact a few of the bigger streamers that have been like sub to through the ages. Again, I don't watch a lot of big streamers, but like I kind of have to in a way for marketing. So like I'll throw subs their way so that they know who I am. So when I go and contact them, we can try and get codes out there. But again, Flex, of course, as you already said, you agreed, but you'll definitely be getting a code in July for closed access, and you'll be able to play it.
100%, man. 100%.
Demo should be up soon as well, and that's open. So that's like open demo alpha, I guess you could call it. I don't know what to call it. It's just open up demo. You'll be able to play through 5 levels plus a mini boss, and you'll have an assortment of weapons to choose from. That'll be on the website. Right now, you can download the old demo, which was for the Adventures of Timmy, which was more of like a run and gun, I guess hack and slash kind of thing, but you're not actually melee, you're ranged.
Yeah.
And that was that was done in 48 hours by the team for a game jam that we ended up winning and doing like a really good job on. So
wow,
huge.
So this is all through, how are you distributing, Steam or?
Yeah, so it'll be through Steam, maybe Epic. We originally were gonna do Epic and then do Steam because they are usually better for indie companies, but we talked with some QA people from Epic Games that I was affiliated with through school, that actually work for Epic Games, and after talking with them, they recommended that I go Steam first and then come to their platform. And that's the other thing. I mean, we have, when I say we're taking it seriously, we have investors giving us money. We have
they gotta pay the dev somehow.
Exactly. We have lawyers, we have marketers, we have social media people. We're affiliated with, we've been in contact with Steam. We're in contact with Epic Games. I mean, when I say it seriously, this isn't just like your mom and pop starting up like a little computer store. This is like as close to indie as you can get. We're basically like, the startup. We are the like, we thought about doing like Kickstarter, like taking it that far, but we don't think we need it at this time because
I would say you definitely have to take into consideration what Fall Guys did with Twitter, and somehow implement that into your strategy moving forward, because what Fall Guys did with Twitter was unbelievable. I mean, they literally made Fall Guys on the map by just being on Twitter and just memeing. I mean, they memed every single thing to put Fall Guys in when it was in beta. They were giving away keys for like send the best meme you have on your phone. We'll send you a beta key if it's the funniest or whatever. And literally just memeing everybody. Everyone wanted access to this game, and they would do everything that they could, and just posting some of the raunchier memes. But they literally did so good to the point where nobody didn't want to play the game. Everybody wanted a key. Everyone wanted into the game. I ended up getting a key. I was lucky enough to. There's a couple of games I've gotten keys to now, but that one I was super excited about because it was so hype. And now Fall Guys is it kind of is the meme now. It kind of had its moment. It came and went. But if you can take this game and continuously implement on it to make like not even different versions, but a continuation, or maybe like, take Timmy, make Sally's version where Sally's now going through it, and like different toys, different whatever, Barbies and everything else. Like, I feel like there's so many paths you could take with that, and like have a lot of fun with it. That's huge, man. I can't even imagine the game developing standpoint of that all.
Oh, I'm not gonna stretch it. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of man hours into this, especially a game of this nature. Like I said, 110 weapons. We have like over 50 enemies already getting ready for implementation. 20 bosses or mini bosses, one main boss at the end. We have like 30 rooms, different levels that you're going to go through. Again, it's roguelike, so it all has to be like randomly generated because we don't want to create boring repetition, but there is a repetition where you're learning. And I think that's like the most interesting part of it. Again, if I'm gonna compare it to other games, like if you're into like Enter the Gungeon or like Cuphead, stuff like that, that is what you're gonna get out of this, but in a more childlike fashion that brings you back to your childhood. And I think, the team here came up with, like, myself included, came up with like this really original idea that really hasn't been done yet. I mean, to take you back to your childhood. I mean, the only thing that you can really think of right off the bat is Toy Story, which is a movie, not a game.
Yeah.
So like, like, so that's what we're hitting. Like that's what we're going for, is to take kids, take adults and teenagers back to, or even kids of nowadays, take them back to, what we did as kids, because a lot of that is lost in this time.
Now,
There's a lot of virtual now.
Would you be considered like the chief executive officer, or are you just, where are you co-owning? What, like, where?
Oh, I am owner and executive producer, along with lead programmer of Typhon Studios. So I control everything. Everything comes through me before it gets released.
Look at you.
Yeah. So I am in charge of everything. I run the file server. I run the website. The website was built by me. All of it. Like every little inch of Typhon is pretty much me, and then everybody else is like, if you're looking at the hierarchies below. I appointed an art director that controls art, so she kind of takes on more of the stuff that like I just don't want to have to deal with. I mean, I'm an artist at heart. I mean, you and me can definitely talk more about art.
100%.
We did it in the back day, you remember? But at the end of the day, I needed to let them do what they do best, which is, the 3D modeling and designing and stuff, and I needed to kind of let them do that. And basically we have this kind of like leveling system where the artist produced the work, they give it to the art director, she okays it, and then I just basically am last line of defense. It's like, yep, that's good, put it in the game, and like that's kind of it. But yeah, it's stressful at times, because at the end of the day, as an owner and as an executive producer, you got to sit back every once in a while and realize that like your employees are relying on you. If I sink, then everybody sinks with me, kind of deal. But at the end of the day, I mean, I bring it up to the team, and the team is really supportive. Everybody there is, they fit right into the positions, they take care of what they need to do, and it's exactly how we talked about with Twitch chat before, where like it almost runs itself. Sometimes I get to sit back and just do me.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of people don't understand this, and I think this is actually a good note to spring off of in regards to that. But if you want to be a larger creator, you have to take on larger projects. Mm-hmm. You have to be the person who thinks of the idea and then executes it. And executing is something a lot of people have a really hard time with, or they're not that great at. But like, there are so many people doing exactly what you do as a content creator. If you play Apex, there's a million other people playing Apex right now, live, doing the same exact thing. So what makes yours stand out? Now, this is kind of a touchback to what we were talking about before, where you said about that P2020 thing, where you did an event, and it's now an event type thing. And I now try to treat my streams like that. Every stream shouldn't be just, hey, I'm gaming this game. It's an event. What's our goal? What's our ambition? How are we going to hit it? And then also starting those larger projects and doing those, because so many people are just not. You want the big pay, you want the big recognition, but you have to put in the big work. You have to be the person who takes that risk and responsibility and has those scares where it's like, oh shit, like I'm kind of the person now. Like I'm kind of in charge. I'm kind of responsible for this grandiose idea. Like it was fun when we were talking about it, but now we're doing it, and holy shit, we're doing it. Yeah. So many people don't get that it takes so much more than just saying, it'd be cool, we should do this. Yeah, and they just I see it all the time. I see it in real life. People are like, man, we should open up a business where we sell these. I'd buy one right now, yeah. Yeah, and then at the end of the night, the talk's over. Like, nothing else.
And they never follow through.
Exactly, but the person who actually starts the business and starts selling them, everyone's like, oh, well, I kind of want my... So you can't jump in on that. You already lost it, right? This person executed. And the person who executes is the person who reaps the benefits. That is such a hard talent that so many people don't have, and that applies to everything in daily life. Not just streamers, not just content creators, everything. The person who executes is the person who reaps, and that's what it has to be, man. It's awesome that you're taking that and doing that at such a level, off of just a game jam too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, honestly, and I think that's a great like segue point, because I was gonna talk about like streaming again and bring in like the whole like my feedback to people that want to start that, because like I could go all day about starting like a company too, but like at the end of the day, we're here for content creation.
Absolutely.
Which, not saying that what I'm doing for game design ain't content creation for you guys to enjoy, but at the same time, let's talk streaming.
Yeah.
So if you were gonna start streaming, like honestly, and this is from my point of view as someone that really wants to give back to like communities and tell you what mistakes I made early on. First and foremost, you gotta have a marketable name. Murderous Enigma was very awful and horrible, and it sounded deadly, and it sounded very just sus. So we had to shrink it. We had to get it better.
It doesn't match your personality at all, too.
It
like
doesn't.
In hindsight, you're not murderous. You're very kind. You're very, You're a very light person.
Honestly, even with Murderous Enigma, everybody used to always call me E. Back in the day, Corvos used to call me E too.
Ooh,
that so guy. Like that's what happened. Yeah, that guy. So like that's why the logo is E. That's why like Enigma ended up just being EnigmaM. Because I also wanted to call back to the murderous section of it, the OG, you know, calling back. Only the OGs know. But like, you know, that's first and foremost. And then of course from there, the worst thing I think anybody could do, and this is just me being honest, is if you go online and you look up like what to do as a streamer, all the websites are going to tell you there's like three main things they're going to tell you, like across the board. They're going to say a marketable name, like I just said, which that one I agree with, but the other two are just awful. It's like don't go into an oversaturated game, and then the second one is like stupid. You gotta stream like all the time and have like a schedule. Those two I just cannot agree with anymore.
No, not at all.
As someone that tried both of those, first and foremost, again, and I already brought this up, in terms of the game you're picking, you just got to do the game you want.
You got to enjoy it.
If you go into an oversaturated game like we talk Apex or Fortnite or something like that, yeah, you may grow slower than someone that went into something maybe like Bloodborne or something that is an older game, or like Dead Space, where there may be
or like the speedrunners who are doing viewers. Like Mario Odyssey or something, yeah.
Exactly. You may get the spikes, but you're not going to enjoy it the same amount as if you just played the game that you enjoy, right? So first and foremost, I disagree with that. You got to go with what you enjoy. Yes, you're going to grow slower, but your community is going to notice that you're enjoying yourself, and they're going to enjoy it with you. And then, like, secondly, the other one, obviously, being that, like, you got to stream all the time and have a schedule. That's like a two-parter. You got to have a schedule that's, like, you know, consistent, because people will rely on you like they rely on TV. So that one's true, but streaming every day, no. You might end up hurting yourself more than you will, unless you can actually do it full time. You know, when you watch people that are streaming every day on Twitch that have like a lot of viewers or something like that, they're doing it because like they found the time to do it, but that's what you have to do. You have to establish time management and find the time that you can do it. And also, you don't want to stream the same game all the time.
Yes.
As someone that did that, again, it deteriorates mental health to be coming in and just playing something every single day.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta mix it up.
It kills you. No, it really does. And those 2 points are absolutely correct. Just to tag onto that second point too, the thing about streaming that like it really gets people going is like, how do you find a new streamer, right? If you were just Johnny Smith and you just opened up a brand new phone, you have a Galaxy in front of your Apple, whatever, and you're looking for a brand new streamer, do you think that you're gonna go to Twitch and sift through millions of people? No.
If you're like me, you sort from low to high.
Chances are you're gonna end up on another platform like YouTube or like Twitter or like TikTok, and you're gonna see a clip of someone and be like, oh shit, this person looks, and then you're gonna go to that person, and then you're gonna start to go from there. Your content is more valuable off of Twitch than it is on Twitch. Right?
Yeah, yes. For me, it was like Reddit. Like, I had Reddit up and was sending like big skill clips to Reddit, like 500-meter snipes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, you could see the fucking rainbow arc coming in.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with the Kraber. The Kraber is awesome for that, dude. Yeah. The Kraber is so fun. But yeah, like you find people through other platforms more than you'll find them through Twitch. Because rarely ever are people sitting on Twitch waiting for Twitch. People are sitting on other platforms absorbing content, and then they see you on Twitch because of that. And that's like the transition rate. Because I'm sorry to tell you, but most of my followers weren't just like watching Twitch and saw me, because how many people are streaming Apex, right? 1 million, right? You're not going to see me in that list of everybody. You're going to see me on that one post on Twitter that brought you to my channel. And now you're a regular viewer, maybe a Twitch Prime sub. If you're not, you should be. Twitch Prime's easy. It's no, I'm kidding. I'm
kidding. Shameless plug for your own channel.
Jumping into it. No, I only joke.
If you guys got Twitch Prime, you got to give it to this man, all right?
I have people in chat who say that sometimes, and it makes me laugh so much, man, because I'll literally just be like, was it easy to do that? Like, it was so easy. Oh my God, it was the easiest thing I ever did. It's just hilarious, dude. Oh, man. Exactly. But that's actually a callback. You mentioned you wanted to jump back to streaming. You mentioned the graphics, man. So a lot of people don't know, but Enigma and I go way back. Way back. Super, super, super back. I think your followage on my channel was a few years as well, too. Like, something kind of crazy. But we knew each other back when, like, Fortnite was in its earliest seasons. Like, it was almost brand new. And, I mean, we gamed a lot. I met him as Murderous Enigma. And, dude, the Discord messages, I still have that Discord. I could go back to it. I changed Discords when I went from Corvus to Flex Chapman. But we used to just send graphics to each other, ideas to each other, literally bouncing it off each other like rubber, because, like, you know, when you meet a peer who's just as creative but just as, like, seeking success as you kind of want that. You kind of want that bouncing off each other thing. And there's a lot of great ideas. You know, I was, I think, maybe the first person to ever see that E that's on the top of his panel over there. It was awesome to see that. We gave a lot of advice. EnigmaM was an idea that we came up with kind of together. Flex Chapman was something that ended up coming out of my switch to Mixer. Because when I switched to Mixer, I was Corvus for about 2 weeks. And I didn't like it. I just felt like I wanted something fresh, a new platform, new name, new me. And I remember I was Corvus when I started wearing the sunglasses. I was wearing the gunner glasses, the yellow ones. And with the gunner glasses, my eyes would still hurt, because I stared at a screen at my 9 to 5. Then I stared at a screen on Twitch all day. And I couldn't take it. My eyes hurt. And so someone jokingly said you should try sunglasses because they're dark. And I said, haha, funny. And I put them on and it worked. Oh my God, it worked so well. My eyes felt so much better. And then eventually someone told me to take them off. And I realized as soon as someone told me to take them off, I had a golden opportunity. Now I didn't have to. Now I don't have to. I could keep that anonymity. And so I left it, and I was originally going to be Flex Jones. I did graphics for Flex Jones. I literally created all this stuff for Flex Jones because I wanted a double name, and I wanted a name that, like, stuck with you, right? Mm-hmm. Like Flex Jones, boom. Like, it was so easy. And then a friend of mine actually sent me something saying, there's a guy named, he's an old basketball player, Rex Chapman. What if I was Flex Chapman? And I was like, scratch the Flex Jones. Like, I basically crumpled the paper, threw it. I was like, that's it, man. Flex Chapman, it's perfect. And so shout out to Roosty. Roosty was part of Streamer Royale, which was the pyramid scheme that we all got addicted to back in the day. I think you avoided that. Good for you for avoiding that, because I fell right into it, man. It was awful. But, as far as branding, and my reason for saying all of this, you mentioned a marketable name, but more than just the name, what do you think some key points are for having a successful brand for yourself? Like something that's notable, something people aren't going to forget.
I always tell people, again, like if you're going to start streaming, art is everything on your channel. And if you're capable of doing your own art, you'd got to do it. It's the same thing. Something I learned, because I used to do like cosplaying and stuff like that. Actually, I still do. There's a huge difference between going to, and I'm going to use this as a reference because this is most notably, again, what I'm accustomed to. But like I would go to PAX East up here, and basically I would wear a cosplay that I created. And the difference you see in people when they walk up to you and they go, holy shit, that looks awesome. And you go, yeah. And they go like, did you make that? And you get to be able to say, yeah, I made that. And they go, wow, that's really cool. Like, how did you even do that? Like all this, then you start getting the questions, right? That is the same thing. You could pull that right into streaming, that same experience. Yeah. Because people see like the E that you design or your emotes or whatever. And if they scroll down and they see that like there's not like a banner that says, oh, created by this person, instantly it's like the biggest thing. Like I've had people come in and they're like, your emotes are super cool, and then they're like, who did them? And you're like, me. And they're like, really? They're like, what's it take to do that? And like they start asking questions, right? And that again can build community and exposes you, but also it just gives you as the streamer like a self, like kind of like a boost. You know, you get to sit there and you go, I just made that guy's day, and all I did was just say I made my emotes. Like, you know what I mean? Like now he wants to like sub. Like again, you're not about the money, but like here he is. Like he just wants to do it because like he's like, I just want the emotes. Like I want to use these on other people's channels and have like a good time. I've actually had other streamers come in that are like, dude, I saw your emotes in my chat and I had to come by. And I'm just like, he's like, did you seriously make all these? I've had people come in that are other streamers that I've done art for. Um, that now I'm like affiliated with because they asked me to do art. And again, I will say, you know, obviously with saying like if you can do art, do it, and like all this stuff that I'm talking about. Again, if you're not an artist, I get that, and you should go have someone do your art because just pulling it from the internet, like I could a mile away
Of
when I go to a
course, yeah.
person's
That's
channel,
a
I
good
can be
point.
like, okay, I've seen that all over like the web. Like I know that's not custom. And that I think is the most detrimental thing is not at least having custom artwork done. Yeah, you may have to pay someone to do it to be on like commission to do it, but it's gonna look way better to your community instead of something where like a classic banner that I can just Google search. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, of course.
Um, so I would say if you're gonna tier your art and your branding, you gotta put custom above everything else. And then if you can do it, that just takes the cake. Like that just adds an extra,
There's so
like an
many
extra benefit.
resources too to learn. There's so
Oh
many
yeah.
resources. Like you can go on YouTube and search like how to make esports logo, and
Hmm.
you'll literally get the whole front to back on doing it. You could go from a non-creative to a creative very very easily, and a lot of those guides have helped me. And that's why I do the on TikTok I do a logo giveaway series where I'll draw up logos for people randomly. Um, Whoever wins like the spin wheel, because I think it's important that a lot of people who are chasing their own content have something that represents who they want to feel inside, and something that looks good on a shirt, something that looks good on a hat. If you ever wanted to do merch or anything like that, like it's that stuff's so important to me, and I think that it's very undervalued by a lot of people, because you do see some people who are big who don't have anything like that, and it's like, oh, do you really need it? But trust me, like that might be the difference between you standing out to someone and not standing out to someone.
Yeah.
Even
And you definitely.
not to interject, I apologize, but even
No,
on
you're good.
like this podcast, I custom made the border for you to match your logo's coloration. It has the purple, blue, and green, and like just being able to do that myself made that frame just that much better for
Oh,
viewing pleasure. Like it's like
it
little
fits
things
right
like
in.
that. Exactly, yeah. And to be able to custom do that for any guest, to be able to do that for myself, to be able to change a graphic on the fly, having that knowledge is so powerful, because you'll be able to woo people very instantly. I've built scenes live on stream. I built a dance scene live on stream where I took a bunch of resources. There's a lot of things in OBS that you can tweak to have really cool things happen. Like the way that the border flashes isn't actually an animation. I didn't animate the border. I did an image mask blend with a GIF of a flash, and it flashes and it looks like it's animated and it looks super cool, and it's totally free. It's not anything that like you need to like be a rocket scientist to do. It's copying, pasting, genius stuff. Like it's like that stuff is so smart, and so educating yourself to further yourself is so important, man. And I think that you and I are great examples of how much that power can really lend to your own success.
Absolutely. I agree. And yeah, I mean, like you said, logo, definitely, you gotta have something simple. I mean, my E is complex when you look at it like deeply and you see all like the little figures, and that just shows like the different like ages of me. But at the same time, when like at a distance you can tell it's me. Like it's got the galaxy, I really pulled from like just like simplicity. So like I said, I wanted something that was deep when you looked at it, but from a distance on a t-shirt, like it's galaxy with like it's just an E, like simple. From a distance, you see Galaxy and you see E, and you say, "Is that an Enigma shirt?" And then they walk up, and that's it.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I think that it lends to itself. I think your branding has always been really good, because Enigma's kind of very open ended, right? Enigma's
mhm.
not like one thing. It's like a meld or a mesh of things that genuinely is kind of who you are. You know, you're not just one thing. You're not just this brand. You are multitudes of games. You're multitudes of personality, multitudes of you know, success. Obviously, you have the business now. Obviously, you have so many other things. And, you know, what's next for you? What do you think is like the things that people should be really looking forward to besides the gaming company? I mean, we know that, we talked about that a lot, but, you know, as far as your stream, your content, and everything else, like, is there, you know, what's the next tier of Enigma? What are we expecting to see soon?
Growth, just growth, just general growth. You should be expecting to see more variety. That was one of the things that, like, when I said after I went on my 5-month hiatus, I like set everything up. I had to look back into, like, and you touched it right on the head, actually. When I was looking back at who I wanted to be in my streaming career, one of the main things I looked at was I'm Enigma. Like, I can't be just one game. I have to be multitudes of games. And so that's what we're coming back to. Like, I also lowered streaming. I have a set schedule, but for the most part, I stream only like 3 or 4 times a week to keep it minimum, so I'm not like overdoing it and exhausting myself. And we do a variety of games. I mean, I'm always gonna go back to like first-person shooters and Apex and stuff like that because I have that competitive nature in my body. But at the end of the day, if there's a new game coming out, whether it's Cyberpunk or, you know, even go back to old genres like World of Warcraft Classic, like, I'll sit down and I play it, and that's me. You know, like, I want to be more variety. So yeah, looking into the future, the next steps of Enigma are continuing variety streaming, and growing as a variety streamer is what I'm looking for now, and not being a single. And looking in on that from where I stand, it's going to be a difficult road. Variety streaming is a lot harder than like subjecting yourself to one category because, like, as we discussed, like, communities often aren't like adaptable. There's a lot of people that only watch for one game and then leave when you're playing a different one.
Yeah.
However, and you know, you have to understand that going into variety streamer, but you also have to understand that if this is something you want to do, like I said, if you continue to go down that path, people will eventually come that enjoy variety streaming. And a lot of my viewers come in and they're like, they'll actually give me recommendations now about games that I should check out that they think will fit my, you know, play style. And I entice that. Like, I want them to do that so that we can have more variety. And I'm not the one that's always like, today this is what we're doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I guess, yeah, my brand as it grows will become that. I don't foresee changing anything branding wise. Where I sit now with the Enigma name, the Enigma logo, the emotes, all that, I like where I sit. I sit very very tall on my branding, and I don't foresee ever really doing like a rebrand again.
Good.
Which is a good way to look at it. Yeah.
You shouldn't, because I think that you finally have nailed your ethos and what really stands to make you who you are. But I would say that said, we are hitting now about the hour and a half mark. I don't want to keep you all day, and I think we could probably swing this to a close. I had checked with Rob to see if there was any fewer questions. I'm not sure if he was AFK or not, but it didn't get back to me. But no worries. If there are anything, we could touch upon them after the fact. Enigma, thank you so much for being awesome being here. Thank you for sharing everything. I'm excited to get that beta key, excited to see more about you. I had a timer set up in my channel showing your YouTube, obviously where to find you there, your Twitch. Is there anywhere else people should look to find you? Anywhere for your content? Anything? Instagram, Twitter? Like, where's best to locate you?
The Discord, probably just the Discord. Honestly, I'm huge on my Discord. I keep my Discord up to date. That's more or less my new social.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
that makes sense. I'll make sure to get a link to everybody for that. Let me do that right now, as a matter of fact, before we go ahead and end this, because I did have it up.
Yeah, my DMs are not closed at all. Like, I'm not a streamer that is like, you know, you got to go through my mods before you get to me. So for the most part, I respond to everybody, whether it's in my general chat or whether it's through my DMs. So that's how a lot of people get to me.
Perfect. Yeah, and link is now in the Discord. So that being said, Enigma, thank you so much. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by, hanging out during this. Again, this is going to YouTube as well, so everything that was in chat, as you guys know, I hope that I didn't miss anything too hasty or anything too bad while we were talking, but I hope everyone has a phenomenal rest of your time. Take it easy. We'll see you guys soon.
See ya.